Hi, it's Linda. It's been kind of a sidetracked kind of week for me, so I thought I'd just take you along on my crazy little journey here with starting out to try to make some fabric tape that was decorative. I was using this freezer paper and putting strips down and then coloring it with my alcohol ink markers and then doing some stamping on it. And this one I did with yellow. All of my alcohol ink markers are very bright colors, and I don't think that's really the look that I would like for this. But as I was doing this, I thought, well, maybe it would look better if it was on, like, used in tab bindings. Chantel from the Purring Cat Studios does this all the time with her books. Makes books with what's called a tab binding. And what you do is you put your book together with these tabs. You put 3 on the first one, and then you put 2 here, and then you glue the first 3 to that, and the next 2 to this one, and keep going across. Anyway, she does a good demonstration on that. I'll try to link that in the description box. So anyway, I took some book pages out of a novel that I got at the Dollar Tree and tore up. And I was going through it and covering up things that I didn't want to have in my little book. So anyway, I have this book page tab bound journal just to see how the tabs would look, but getting sidetracked, I started decorating it, and that's where I am now. I've got this little book going, and I thought, well, I might as well finish it. So this project of the tape is kind of on hold because I'm not sure that I like the way it looks. I think it works okay as tape, but it's awfully bright. And unless I can figure out a way to tone it down and make it less in-your-face bright, then I don't think it's going to work for me. There may be alcohol ink pens, markers that are not as bright, and maybe I can find 1 or 2 of those to use for the background on that. So anyway, that is the start of this little book. And where I've gotten to now is I made a cover for it out of some cardboard that came out of a calendar. What I need to do is attach this book to the cover now. So this is not strong enough, sticky enough to hold it in place, but it holds it kind of temporarily. And what I think I'm going to do is just attach 3 more tabs on here that attaches to the back here. Since I've used this tape that's so bright already, I guess I'll just continue with that. And just cut some strips here to go on it. And I discovered that it sticks to the plasticized coating on this freezer paper and pulls it up. So it's not the best answer to what to put the tape on to work on it with. So I'm still in search of the right thing. And it may be one of these plastic mats, these cutting mats that I've gotten at the Dollar Tree before. They didn't have them the last time I looked for them there, so I don't know if they've discontinued that or if it's just out of stock. But I haven't been there in a while, so I need to check on that again. So anyway, I'm doing this. It might be more sturdy if I put a strip all the way down there of some tape, but we'll see how this does. Put that there. And I think I'm going to start from the other end because it's really pulling that off on there. See how it's, you may not be able to see that, but it's got the paper right there at the end of that. So anyway, we'll just see how it goes. Put the number over there. I like the number. For someone who doesn't do numbers, I do like them for decorative purposes. Okay. A little bit of that left. I have no idea how well this is going to hold up. This is just an experimental little book that I've made here. Hopefully that will hold it together. This tape that I'm using is some I got at Walmart. It's just, it's called cloth tape, and it's for, like, taping bandages on. It has latex in it, I found out somewhere on here. So if you're allergic to that, you might not want to work with this kind of tape. And I'm not even sure this is a good idea. It's just something I'm kind of trying out to see how it goes. What I've done is I've cut some pages to go on the inside cover, front cover, and inside back cover. And I'm trying to decide if I like the way the brown looks behind that. I'm not too sure I do. Maybe I would put some... I'm just going to tear the edge of this off since the other edges are torn and this one's not. I may put some baking paper behind it just to give it another layer back there. Spending all this time on this little book that's not very important, shall we say. Okay, let's see. Got this. Just use a couple of pages, a couple of pieces of that to kind of go behind there. Hopefully that's straight enough. Oops. Here we go. Okay. In the interest of time, I'm just going to do the front cover for now, and I'll go back and finish the back cover in the same way later. And I didn't tear too straight. I did it. Okay. I'm going to wad this up and make it a little more soft and worn out looking behind there. I watched a video the other day by a lady named Lori, and I've forgotten her channel name. I'll put it in the description. But she was talking about how she ages papers, and one of the things she does is she takes a stack of papers, rolls them in various directions, gets them started rolling, and rolls them up. Not doing a very good job of this. And crunches the ends and squeezes them a little bit. And then she goes in a different direction and rolls them again. She just keeps working with them until they get soft as she likes them to be. And that's one way she ages her papers. She has some other interesting tips, so I will link her video in the description box too for that. Okay. So I'm going to put that there, and I'm going to put this on top. And it's not too bad. I think I may take a little bit more off of this. Just tear it. I'm also going to ink the edges. I'm going to use some Victorian Velvet and Distress Oxide. Discovered the Distress Oxide, like working on those tapes. You have to be careful because if it gets wet, then it starts doing crazy things and it looks strange. So it's probably not the best option to stamp with. I used regular pigment inks on this and also on that one that I did. So it's a learning process, you know. Everything is always a learning process. And in the video that I did the other day about aging the edge of papers, I forgot two items that I have that I use. I was using scissors, and I really wasn't having that much luck with the scissors. But this is a seam ripper, and it works pretty well to just age your edge a little bit with some not tears necessarily, but just roughness on the edge, like that. And then I mentioned this other item, but I don't know what to call it. I think it's called a thread cutter, and it's got a round blade in there, and then it's got these slots that you can slide thread into to cut it. and not have to have scissors if you're like doing a knitting project or something. They safely take it on the plane. I don't think they would think that that was something they needed to take away from you. But I don't know that for sure. But it does a pretty good job too of roughing up the edges. And you can just kind of roll over the edge there and make it look a little rough. Anyway, those are two other ways to rough up an edge. And I really think I like the little seam ripper the best. I seem to have better control with it. So anyway, I'm going to put this on top of the baking paper and glue it down on the inside there. I think I'll just go ahead and glue the baking paper on and then glue that on. And I hope that that is going to be enough on there to hold my book in the cover. Anyway, I'm just going to put some glue on here. I'm not going to be too careful about it. I'll come back later and get the edges if I need to. And just put it, actually I'm going to put this way so that it torn edges out to the front, and that's the edge that was torn with the cutter in the paper, so I'll have it back here in that space. Just kind of, it needs to go up higher. Just want it to look a little bit messy down here and turned up. Yeah. And I think I'll put that over there and have that kind of, in fact, I might even make that a pocket there, just to be able to slide something in there. In fact, I think I will do that. So I'll use my Fabri-Tac to glue the three sides of it down. And of course I'll have to find a tag or something to put in this corner, in this pocket, but that's okay. We'll find something. All this paper I have. It's like when I go to write a note to myself and I have all this paper and it's like, oh, I can't use that. I might want to make something out of that, and I can't use that. And so I end up searching for a piece of paper to write a note to myself. Crazy, I know. Okay. So then we have a pocket there. I don't know how effective that's going to be, but that's what we got. See, I don't like that color with this. I think that looks too jarring, but until I figure out what else I'm going to do with it, I will leave it be. And I don't know if this is a good idea here on the edge of this either, because it may be hard to slide that into the pocket. So I think what I'll do is just run some glue right down here with the Fabri-Tac. Then it will stay stuck a little better. Just kind of crunch it up like that. Okay, there we go. All right, that's what I'm doing for the inside covers. The back, I have another piece over here that I'm going to put back here for that. I'm just going to page through the book and let you see what I've done so far. This little woolly worm is something I cut off of this notepad. This was a gift from my sister-in-law, which I think is really pretty. And I could make notes on this to myself, but it's so pretty. I might use it in a junk journal. I know, I'm crazy. I'm crazy. Anyway, that's what that is. I folded this edge over and inked the edge there with a little bit of pink ink. And I meant to do that to this. And did I do that? No, I did not. Get sidetracked here. This way. Just a little bit on there to show it's the edge. And maybe there too. Once you rough up those edges, they take the ink a lot better than the straight edges do. I guess there's more surface to attach to. Okay, back to this. It's been that kind of week. Okay, that's this page. I left the page number there where you can see it. This page has more of that same design on it. And actually, I think I had these left over from something else that I'd used some part of it on. So I was using up something that was laying around. But I think those little blue flowers are pretty. And they look pretty with that blue. It's just that blue-green that's not working for me. So I have to figure out what I'm going to do with that. I do not know. This stamp is more of my, this stuff, this rug underlay that I use this one. I'm thinking some of these pages may need a little bit more something on them, so I'm keeping that in mind too. I don't think these two do. I've got quite a bit of rug there, overlay on that. I just put some, the middle part of that notepad over this type there, just to have a place to write. This was a piece of paper that I had that I'd cut the die out of, and so I decided to put it on there. And again, this color, I don't know. Piece of doily that was on the desk, I put that on there. More rug stamping, and then I used a stamp to put those little leaves there and there. More of that same notepad. And this is a piece of scrapbooking paper. And I just folded up, I cut off a piece of a steno pad, just tall enough to fit in there, and put a little stamp there on the edge for a little decoration. And it's kind of hard to get it in the pocket with this, so I just kind of slide it under there like that. And under there, you may have seen when I pull that up, I have some of this napkin. Where'd it go? Some of this napkin, and it kind of matched that tape, but it really didn't go with what I was doing, so I decided to cover it up and make a pocket there. Designing by hiding your mistakes. My mistakes. More of the rug stamp. This, I just left that on there. That's kind of a nice little description of a park that, and I don't know, I just left that there. I made a pocket here and just put, that's the die out of this that I just put on this little sparkly paper to put in there. And I had covered up a page with this paper that I'd tried stamping with some Distress Oxide ink and spraying it, and I really didn't like it too much, so I was trying to get rid of so much pink when I did that. But I have pink on the edges there. And that's another one, another part of that. A little bit of stamp there. Then I made a pocket here just to cover up some of that, and used a stamp on that. That's just a piece of a map that I had that, I think they call those compass roses, but probably ones that have more points than that. Then I just made a tag, and that's a piece of the paper to go in there. And then this one is more page and stamp and some Crayola. And I put some of that tape back here. And I was going to say, too, about that. I made some extras of this, and I was thinking I'd just store it on this wax paper. But when you go to take it off, it pulls off the wax and the paper. And so you don't have as much stickiness, and it's also hard to get off. But you don't have as much stickiness on the back of your tape as you would otherwise. So just something to keep in mind. I think maybe not doing a whole bunch in advance is probably the best idea. So anyway, that's just something I've learned. And now what am I going to do with this tape? I may put it over here. I may just tear this right here so that I can hide one of those under the tape and make it look intentional in a way. So that's my little book. I'm going to do that. The back is probably just, I don't know what I'm going to do with the back. I was thinking about maybe stenciling something on here just to add a little more interest, but I don't know if I'm going to do that or not. Maybe on some of these pages that have a lot of writing on them, like that one. We'll just do something on here. I've got this stencil. It's a Waverly. I got that at Walmart a while back, and they are not carrying that anymore. Our Walmart has changed so many things that it's like what I used to buy is not there anymore. So anyway, I guess that's just a sign of the times. Here's my makeup brush that I picked up at the Dollar Tree. And I'm going to put it on here. I'm just going to put it kind of like that. Oops, that's pretty dark. That's okay. And since I have one, I think I need another one. Not there. There might be another place that I think it needs that. Maybe just here, just a little bit down below this, like on the edge. That's not bad. I think I'm going to go ahead and do the cover of this. I'm really not sure about this little book. It may not be something to keep. Anyway, I'm going to glue these together on here. And I think I want, I had a couple of pieces of that. I'm not sure which of those I'm going to use. Do I want this on there first? And then that. And that. Those are kind of too much the same. And then maybe a piece of music page and the bird. Or this music page and the bird. I think I want that one behind back here. And then this on top. I think that's what I'm going to do. Maybe I want a bigger piece of this. I'm going to tear this side down just a little bit. I got these ends down here I don't like. Here. Okay. Glue that down. This is corrugated cardboard, but it's very fine corrugation on it, so whatever that's worth. It's not very strong, but it's kind of interesting. Okay, there's that. I'm not going to use those. I'm going to use this. And I'm going to ink the edge this time before I get into it too far. Oh, I don't like that. Straight edge. Okay. The straight one there and have the ragged one over there. Just making it a little bit messy and pink. I think I want that edge rolled down right there. And I want it to be pink. There. Okay. Okay, and we'll just put that right along there. I'm back. I was sidetracked in the nicest way. My brother and sister-in-law and her sister came by, and we had an opportunity to be together for a little while. It was very lovely, and I'm very willing to interrupt my crafting to visit with them. So thank y'all. Back to this. I stopped it having glued this on. This is what I've decided to put on here now. This is a piece of dictionary page that I had stamped Journey on at some point, and I decided I would put that on here. And this is just a little card. It was a thank you note, and it had a bird on there that I just cut a piece off and inked around it with some speckled egg. And this is a piece of coffee dyed music paper. So I'm going to, I think I'm going to do Barbara of 49 Dragonflies approach of gluing it down, top down. So we'll have to see how this goes. I think I want it like that. So I'm going to use Fabri-Tac because it's just easier once it gets going. We've got a rainy day, or not rainy, but overcast and wet. The street's wet today, so it's a little darker than it was yesterday in here. Okay, that goes there, and then, oh, don't move around too much, please. That goes there. I want it to be able, that you can see Journey, but not, it doesn't have to be completely uncovered there. And then these pieces go on this. And then I'll put this here. Like that. Okay, I think I like that. And then you just glue all this part back down. So I'll everything to the page. Now I'm just going to put this down about where I thought I had it. A little tricky to always get it back in the same place. Okay. And I'm happy with the edges being a little bit sticky uppy, curled up there. If it gets messed up, it doesn't matter. It's just a silly little book, experimental book. Okay, let's see. It's not glued there. Okay. I thought about sticking this piece of, this other piece of paper in behind there, but I don't think I need it. I think it might be too much, so we'll just stop with that for the cover. I decided to do a quick flip through of what I finished up on this. It's kind of a loosey-goosey little book, but anyway. Usually I'm uptight and gluing everything down perfectly straight, so this is an exercise in loosening up a little bit for me. So we saw the cover earlier. I feel like it still needs a word or something on there, but it's got Journey, so maybe that's doesn't need that. But I may think it over and come up with something else. I don't know. Then on this inside, I added a little pocket down here, and I just have a ticket and a tag with some fabric and lace at the top of it stuck in there. And that's just, it's this, a check register that I just used the striped part on. And I made a tag to go back here, and I also used that same thing and a stamp with some of these swirly things on it, and I made a boo-boo there. So that goes in there. It goes in there. That's the same, nothing new there. This green is still bothering me. I'm planning on doing something else. I put another one of the compass points on here and added 3 stamped butterflies there. I'm not sure I like that, but anyway, it's on there now. This is the same. I added a couple of these swirls on here to kind of imitate those. Nothing new there. That's the same. Same there. Kind of redid this a little bit. This was not laying down flat, so I moved that up and put some tape there. I don't know if that made it better or not. And that's the same. And then back here, I added this pocket out of the same scrapbooking paper. This is off of a map from North Coast in Louisiana. And I just cut out a couple of tags. They're not finished on the back, but I just wanted something to go in here. It said Madisonville on the side there, so I put a little bit of the music page there to cover up the letters. And I still feel like that needs a little something up there. And that's the back. I just used the scrapbooking paper with the ink around the edge on that. So that's the little book. Funny little book. Crazy week. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.